Hi everyone, Naturalist Nora here at the Westwoods Nature Center. Behind me is a beautiful mural hand-painted by local artist Karen Leonard, and it depicts forests that you would find here around Geauga County. The other thing that you'll notice about it is you notice the trees in the forest, but you'll notice a lot of different variety of animals. And I'm going to focus on one kind of animal that you could see around you in our parks and in our forests, but not only that, but anywhere you are, at a pond, in your backyard, you're gonna find these. What are they? I'll give you a hint. They have feathers. So what's that gonna be? Birds. So birds are all around us, as I said, and you can find them at every habitat. And the reason why I like birds so much is because it's hard to not experience them around you. You can see them just looking out your window. I encourage you to have a bird feeder. That's a really great way to get up close without having to interfere with their activity. You can just look at them and watch their behaviors. So let's go over a few things about birds that make them special and make them fun to explore. So the first thing I already mentioned, feathers. So different birds have different feathers. And what I'm holding up here right now, you're gonna notice size-wise. It's gonna be a larger size feather than something you would see. So right away we know, is this gonna be a bluebird feather? No, you don't have the color of a bluebird and you don't have the size. This is a larger bird, it's gonna be a brown streak. That's gonna be a turkey. So the turkey feathers, pretty noticeable. This is our wing feather. And then you have a very noticeable tail feather. The tail feathers on a turkey are great. They're mottled brown and they're used for display purposes to attract mates. You'll also notice like the male cardinal, bright red. They use their colors to attract mates. So there's a little difference sometimes with males and females. The goldfinch at your feeder is going to be a bright yellow with the males. The female, she's going to want to hide in her nest, so she's going to be a duller color. So we have our turkey friend here, and you can see with the wild turkey, they do use their tail feathers to try to display to attract females with the males. So you'll see the males are the ones that are going to be doing display with their feathers. One of my favorite birds to talk about feathers about, I'll be right back, is this guy. And you can see him over here in the mural too. This is our Pileated Woodpecker. The Pileated Woodpecker has really cool feathers, and all woodpeckers have feathers specifically for what they do. You can see this picture really does show you what it's doing with its tail feathers. It's using that as like a bike. When they do a stand, you have to set your bike up on a stand. So that's what it's doing. It's using the tail feathers, really stiff tail feathers, to hold itself up as it focuses on getting food out of that tree. So you have here, is it a sample of a woodpecker feather? This is from the flicker, the northern flicker. They're very stiff feathers. So you have a really good example of what it's doing and how feathers really help the bird do what it needs to do, whether it be attracting other birds or getting food. So feathers is a really cool thing that you would notice when you're looking out at those bird feeders. So I encourage you, take a look, sit down with a cup of coffee or a cup of juice and look at the bird feeders and check out which ones have bright colors, which ones have stiff feathers, and explore nature. We're going to learn more about birds and some other things that you can notice about them. Okay, so another thing that you've probably seen around you when you're exploring or in your yard, just walking by, you might see a nest. So what is it about bird nests? Well, different types of birds make different types of nests. What do they use their nests for? You're right, raising young. So typically they'll lay the eggs and they'll raise the young until they fledge, and that's how they'll use their nest. So are nests special? Absolutely. Just as in different types of birds have different types of feathers, let's look at different types of nests. So we have a very common nest here, one that I would venture to say many of you have had in your yard. Why? Because this is a very common yard bird, our American robin. And the American robin makes its nest out of mud and dry grass. You're gonna see the bowl shape, so that's what you're gonna look at. You're gonna look at the components of the nest. What's it made out of? You're gonna look at the shape of the nest. This one's shaped like a bowl. And the location, where is it? It's located in a shrub, on a branch, or a tree. So that's what you're gonna look at to identify nests. So this is our American robin nest, right? And of course, you might get lucky and see those distinctive blue eggs in that nest if you happen to see that. And if you do see these nests, just take a look at them and leave them alone. Typically, most birds don't reuse their nest, but some do. So you can always just leave it there and watch. The American robin usually doesn't reuse the nest, but a mouse might come by and use it that winter for keeping warm. Let me show you one more nest. Okay, now is this an American robin nest? No, it's not the bowl shape. It's more of like a hanging basket shape, and it's made out of plant fibers, no mud. This here is a really neat nest to be seeing in a tree, and a lot of times you don't see it because it's camouflaged, but this is our northern oriole, that cool black and orange bird. And so this oriole nest is what some people say gets that Rockabye Baby song going on, because the eggs are in the tree and it's swaying a little bit. So this is our northern oriole nest. So again, keep an eye out for nests. You can see the birds around you. If you see a nest, a bird going in and out of a tree a lot, look to see behind the leaves to see if maybe there's a nest in there too. Okay, we talked about what you can see around you with birds. Looking at their feathers, looking at their nest. Now let's talk about what you can hear. We're gonna have two very common songs that you could hear around you this time of year. That is when you're gonna hear the songs. The songs are what's announcing territory and attracting mates. So we have the first song here. Yoo-hoo. You heard that one? The black-capped chickadee. That's, like I said, a very common song you're gonna hear. And you'd hear that around your backyards. You can hear that in forests. Really good one to get to know. Yoo-hoo is what I always think they're saying to me. A lot of people hear different things. So that's a black-capped chickadee. Let's listen to one that you can hear in big grasslands or in wetlands. You're gonna hear this one. Gree, gree. That's the male red-winged blackbird. Red-winged blackbird's gonna be a blackbird with red wings as a male. The females are going to look more like sparrows. They're brown streaked. So if you hear the singing, you know there's a male around and probably some females around too. So listen for that one. That's a really great one. They're really territorial too. And thank you so much for learning about birds with me. Keep your eyes out, keep your ears open, and keep exploring birds. If you want to know more, I encourage you all to go on the Wild Ohio, that's the Ohio Division of Wildlife website. They have some wonderful downloadable field guides. These are the paper version of those. You can also get those mailed to you if you call their 1-800-WILDLIFE if they have them available. But it has great ID descriptions of the birds, and you can really learn a lot about owls, warblers, all sorts of birds. So keep exploring and keep learning all about the nature around you.